Fora TV. The world is thinking.
So, of course, as a master planner of New York, of Ground Zero, my responsibility there was, and that was my idea, how to bring the site back to life, but in a way that puts at the center the memory of that day, those who perished on the day. So I did not build anything where the tower stood. I left that place as an open, really a space that should always be a spiritual space. And of course, the balance in New York to create a spiritual place which goes all the way down with its slurry wall, with its foundations, to the bedrock of New York, and yet is surrounded by more than 10 million square feet of office spaces, which is part of the master plan, millions of square feet of other infrastructure density, train stations, path terminals, subways, a living city. And that's what I wanted to do, to create a memory which is also a basis and a foundation for a 21st century New York, a New York that has always been a fantastic city, not a city that is oppressed by shadows, but a city that is vital, interesting, exciting, dynamic. So that's really what Ground Zero is, and it's actually under construction. It was very highly political, as you know. It was controversial. But I want to tell you that I'm a believer in democracy. You know, many architects prefer to work for some strong hand that would give them a free site somewhere in the world, say, give us, Mr. Architect, a nice building. But I really prefer the complexity of democracy, the open society, the fact that there are so many interests and there are so many different stakeholders. Think about it. In Ground Zero, we've got the families of the victims. We've got the Port Authority of New York that owns the land, is leasing it to private developers with their own architects. We've got the governor of New York and the governor of New Jersey in charge of the path terminals, and the governor, of course, who's in control of the Port Authority. We've got the mayor of New York in charge of city streets. We've got New Yorkers of all kinds, working, living, struggling to make their lives better. So that's really what I believe in. That's what architecture is in an open society. It's just like any other important thing. It's not a ready-made to me. It's not about a formula. It's about creating a discourse that elevates and makes our lives better. And that's kind of, I didn't have a text. I don't know what I missed, what I didn't, but I tried to put everything back into San Francisco because this museum, Contemporary Jewish Museum, is really based on a celebration of the open society, on a celebration of values that really are eternal, that are, you can say God-given because they are based on an understanding of the world as a whole, the one world we all live in. And we can talk about globalization, we can talk about the fact that architecture is now produced really rapidly all over the world, but I think that's why I'm a believer that you need unique architecture for unique spaces. An architecture that is grounded in a tradition, that is located in a very specific light. The building of the Chai, the L'chaim, the To Life building, is very particularly shaped. A particular color. I used this blue stainless steel, a very symbolic color for everyone, but particularly in the Jewish tradition, because it stands for the depth of the sea, for the fact that the world came out of the blue, for the sky, for the unknown, for the deep connection to nature and grapes. It stands for the complexity and richness of reality. So that's why the museum is blue. And by the way, it's not blue as a word. The blue is different because all the walls of the building have different facets that lean in different ways towards the light. And therefore, the museum at all times, even on those foggy San Francisco days, will come to life, I think, in a way that will be enjoyed by the public. And that's what architecture is for. It's for enjoyment. It's for fun. It's for an adventure. It's for spending one's time. And that's what I believe museums can bring to a city. They are not just self-standing containers, but they can regenerate an imaginative world and create not just more jobs and more value for the city, but create a new connection of people to the place they live in, bring others to that source of wonder. And what could be more fun than being here in San Francisco and being to share a few thoughts with you here today. Thank you.